All right, thanks for that, Danny. Well, for Black History Month, we're honoring another local organization that makes a difference in our community and has been serving our area for more than 30 years.
Yeah, 5 News reporter Claire Everbach joining us now with more on the group's mission. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Tiffany. The Northwest Arkansas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Council has been serving the community since 1996, focusing on scholarships, service, and social justice. Their purpose, to promote awareness, education, and advocacy. The council was founded by Reverend J. Aaron Hawkins out of St. James Missionary Baptist Church in Fayetteville. It was originally formed as a scholarship committee, a mission that continues today. The council awards thousands of dollars in scholarships each year to high school and college students. Chris Seawood, an Arkansas native, currently serves as vice president. He says the main mission of the organization is to build what Dr. King called the beloved community, a vision of a society free from violence and hate. Seawood says while Black History Month is especially important, the history and stories that it highlights should be recognized every day.
You cannot separate Black history from American history. We've been in every war. We've been a part of most legislative and legal battles. All history should be celebrated, but you cannot ignore the fact that Black history is woven into America's story, and it should be told without fear, without consequence, and with pride. It is the story of all of us.
For more information about the organization's work and scholarships, you can visit our website, 5newsonline.com. Claire Everbach, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Claire. Well, Election Day, less than a week away. If you still have questions on what will be on the ballot, we've got you covered. Voters will choose between 3 ballots, a Democratic, Republican, or nonpartisan ballot. If a registered Democrat wants to request a Republican ballot, they'll have to fill out a new voter registration form there at the polls to change their party affiliation to either blank, optional, or Republican. That's because the Republican Party there has a closed primary this year, while the Democratic one remains open to all voters.
There is a lot of confusion about the ballot styles, which candidate is on which ballot. So VoterView answers all of those questions for you. It shows how you're registered to vote, it shows what your address is, and most importantly, it shows your 3 ballot options. So you can look at that before you head to the polls to know which of those 3 ballots I want to take.
Well, there are 4 Republican races that could face a runoff on March 31st. Now, you can read about all the races. Find your early voting sites there with our primary election guide. Just text VOTE to 479-785-5000.
Well, in the capital murder case against Andrew McGann, there are new filings alleging a gag order violation against him. He's accused of murdering 2 people in Devil's Den State Park last summer. Defense attorneys filed a motion on Tuesday accusing prosecutor Brandon Carter of violating a gag order and asked the judge to remove the death penalty option. Carter is running for a Court of Appeals seat, and defense attorneys cited a campaign ad and a public presentation where the case was referenced. Adam Rose, an unaffiliated criminal attorney, says these gag orders exist to protect the jury pool and ensure impartiality.
I think just having the photo up there and saying these people were quote-unquote murdered, I think it's tricky because that is public information and he's not necessarily talking about the weight of the evidence.
In his response, Carter denied any violation, saying he did not discuss evidence or guilt, only publicly available information, and told audiences that he could not comment on the case. The judge has not set a date for her ruling on the matter. As of now, McGann's next court date is April 1st.
New mothers in Arkansas could lose health insurance just 2 months after giving birth. Arkansas will soon be the only state in the country without extended postpartum Medicaid coverage. Now, this comes after Wisconsin's legislature passed a measure expanding their coverage for up to a year, leaving Arkansas as the only state yet to do so. Advocates say this leaves Arkansas mothers vulnerable during a critical recovery period, especially as the state continues to report the highest maternal mortality rates in the nation.
You know, we don't want people showing up in the ER. We don't want people going to doctors' offices and getting turned away because they don't have insurance. And so I do think it's something that we just need to continue to discuss and figure out how could we help fill this gap to make sure that women get covered.
Well, many Arkansas state leaders say that they're looking for ways to financially cover this extension for Arkansas mothers.
We are taking a live look out in Washington, D.C. this morning, where President Trump delivered the longest State of the Union address of the modern era. He defended his record on the economy and immigration 1 year into his second term. The president also addressed rising tensions with Iran.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon.
With the latest CBS News poll showing the president's approval rating at 40%, Democrats are now trying to sway voters their way. This comes less than 9 months ahead of the midterm elections. In her official response, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger spoke about the president's immigration crackdown and the cost of living.
Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? We all know the answer is no.
Well, President Trump is set to take his economic message to Texas later in the week ahead of key primaries in the Lone Star State.
Well, U.S. Representative Steve Womack releasing a statement after the address saying in part that President Trump has achieved progress in multiple areas, including border security and reducing the flow of deadly drugs into communities.
And before the speech, the Arkansas Democrats chair released a statement saying in part that Trump is pushing for an agenda that raises costs for working families. Well, new developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie this morning. Authorities say DNA collected in her home may not be enough.
Yeah, this comes amid some new uncertainty about the surveillance images captured outside of her home. Jared Hill has more.
As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope.
Enduring hope from Savannah Guthrie in an emotional Instagram post Tuesday. With the search for her mother Nancy now on day 25, the Today Show co-host also acknowledging for the first time publicly.
She may be lost. She may already be gone.
Outside Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona, a new sign reaching out to her possible abductor, begging they do the right thing. As over the weekend, neighbors began to look for the missing 84-year-old on their own.
We're searchers, we're not investigators. We're not trying to impede with Pima County Sheriff or anything that's going on. We're just searching.
Some investigative leads seem to have begun to run cold. Sources close to the investigation tell CBS News that DNA recovered at Guthrie's home may not yield a usable profile of the suspect, one calling it low level. The sheriff's department sent the DNA to a private lab in Florida instead of handing it over to the FBI. The lab still analyzing the usefulness of the samples, according to the sheriff's department. It's also unclear whether this image and doorbell cam video of the suspect was captured hours or days before she went missing.
We need to know where she is.
The Guthries are now offering a family reward, up to $1 million for information leading to the recovery of their mother.
Someone out there knows something that can bring her home.
Investigators say the key to solving the case may come down to a single tip. Jared Hill, CBS News.